TikTok and Chinese parent company ByteDance are suing the US government to block a law that could see the app banned in the country. The companies filed their lawsuit in a Washington, D.C. federal court on Tuesday, arguing that the legislation violates the U.S. Constitution on free speech protections, among other grounds. The law, signed by President Joe Biden on April 24th, gives ByteDance until January 19th to sell TikTok or see the app banned in the U.S. In the lawsuit, the companies complained that the government's singling out of the platform is unprecedented. They say there was no question that the move will, quote, force a shutdown of TikTok by January 19, 2025, silencing the 170 million Americans who use the platform to communicate in ways that cannot be replicated elsewhere. The administration has said its aim is not to ban the app, but to see Chinese-based ownership ended on national security grounds. The White House and Justice Department declined to comment on the lawsuit. In the court filing, the company said the sale is simply not possible, not commercially, not technologically, not legally. They said moving the TikTok source code to the US would take years for an entirely new set of engineers to gain sufficient familiarity, adding that the Chinese government has made clear that it would not permit a divestment of the recommendation engine that is a key to the success of TikTok in the United States. The companies are asking the court to block U.S. Attorney General Merrick Garland from enforcing the law. According to the document, only 21% of ByteDance is owned by the company's Chinese founder. 58% is owned by global institutional investors such as BlackRock, and 21% is owned by employees, including about 7,000 Americans.
Everybody's down calls this Trump is
Oh, there you go. Loading biryani.
Frenchie?
Frenchie on the knees.
TikTok on Sunday reiterated free speech concerns about a bill that was passed by the U.S. House Saturday. The measure would ban the popular social media app in the U.S. if its Chinese owner ByteDance did not sell its stake within a year.
The bill is passed without objection. A motion to reconsider is laid on the table.
The House approved the legislation 360 to 58, which was a part of a broader foreign aid package. The Senate is expected to vote on it this week, and President Joe Biden has said he would sign it into law. In a statement, TikTok said it is unfortunate that the House of Representatives is using the cover of important foreign and humanitarian assistance to once again jam through a bill that would trample the free speech rights of 170 million Americans. Many U.S. lawmakers from both the Republican and Democratic parties and the Biden administration say TikTok poses national security risks, because China could compel the company to share the data of its 170 million U.S. users. TikTok insists it has never shared U.S. data and never would. Democratic U.S. Senator Mark Warner, chairman of the Senate Intelligence Committee, on Sunday told CBS News TikTok could be used as a propaganda tool by the Chinese government. While Democratic U.S. Representative Ro Khanna told ABC News Sunday that a TikTok ban may not survive legal scrutiny in courts, citing the U.S. Constitution's free speech protections. The House voted on March 13th to give ByteDance about 6 months to divest the U.S. assets of the short video app or face a ban. The legislation passed on Saturday extends that deadline.
This one over here. That's mine. That's awesome. Those are right there.
TikTok and the Chinese company that owns it, ByteDance, are suing the U.S. government for a law that would ban TikTok in the U.S. if it's not sold to a non-Chinese entity within the next year. So the law that could ban TikTok was passed less than 2 weeks ago. Essentially, it forces ByteDance, the Chinese company that owns TikTok, to sell the U.S. Version of TikTok to a company that isn't Chinese within 9 months. Now, this could be extended to 1 year if a sale is already in progress. TikTok is asking first to temporarily block the federal law from going into effect so that they could go through this lawsuit. But what they're arguing is that the lawsuit is unconstitutional and violates the First Amendment because it is restricting people's speech on TikTok. The primary concern lawmakers have with TikTok is national security. Since TikTok is used by a Chinese company, they worried that China could access sensitive data on Americans that is collected by TikTok. They also worry that China could influence TikTok users with propaganda by the videos that it shows to people in the U.S. The U.S. government is arguing that this is not an outright ban of TikTok because they're just forcing a sale. But TikTok's parent company, ByteDance, has said that the Chinese government will not agree to a sale of TikTok's U.S. operations. That would also be really complicated technologically and in every other way to separate the US TikTok from the TikTok in the rest of the world. So if TikTok wins, business and TikToking as usual will continue. If TikTok loses the lawsuit, they have said that they're not going to sell the US arm of the company, that TikTok would simply shut down in the US, and that would be it for Americans who want to access TikTok. So lawsuits take a long time, and this is a really complicated one. A lot of experts have also said that it could go as far as the Supreme Court. So even though there is the 9-month to 1-year deadline for TikTok to be sold, this lawsuit could possibly stretch that out much longer, even years.